Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story called From Ice to Glory, and it's a powerful look at what it really takes to turn an impossible dream into reality. And this one idea, it's really the heart of the whole story. A story that doesn't start in some big, polished arena, but out on the rough, unforgiving ice of a small town way up in northern Canada. So, let's meet our hero, a young kid named Ethan Miller. For Ethan, hockey was everything. It was his whole world, but his love for the game ran smack into the harsh reality of his family's financial struggles. You gotta picture this. Ethan's family worked so hard just to get by. His dad was pulling double shifts at the local factory, his mom was cleaning houses, all just to keep food on the table. There was just nothing left over for something like expensive hockey gear. And that right there, that was the gap between his dream and his reality. While all his friends were showing up with brand new sticks and fancy skates, Ethan was making do with a broken stick held together with a bunch of tape and a pair of torn, hand-me-down skates. So he spent most of his time just practicing alone on a frozen pond out behind his house. So you can imagine how this disadvantage, well, it led to his first major test. And this wasn't just about not having the right gear. It was about facing a world that was pretty quick to judge him for what he lacked. At just 12 years old. Think about that. 12. Ethan gets all his courage together and goes to try out for the local team. I mean, this was it. This was his big shot to prove himself. But what he got instead was just a crushing rejection. Those were the exact words the coach said to him. Can you imagine? Those words just echoed in his head. And for a little while, he almost started to believe them. That night, yeah, he cried. Not just because he got cut, but because for a moment, he thought, maybe they're right. But, it's often in our lowest moments, right when it feels like the dream is completely over, that something happens. A chance encounter was about to light this single, tiny spark of hope. And that's when he met Coach Daniels. He was this retired pro player who happened to see Ethan out on that pond, practicing all by himself, in the middle of a snowstorm no less. And he wasn't impressed by Ethan's skill or his gear, obviously. He was impressed by something way more important, his relentless, unwavering dedication. With those words, everything changed. Coach Daniels offered to train him. He saw right past the torn skates and the taped-up stick, and he saw the one thing you just can't buy. And that was the moment that totally reignited Ethan's belief in himself. So that one little spark of hope? Well, it fueled years of relentless, unseen work. And listen, this was no fairy tale montage. This was a grind. A long, hard, day in, day out grind. Years passed. I mean, look at this timeline. From that brutal rejection at age 12, Ethan just dedicated himself completely. He was training before school, after school, slowly, surely making his mark. His journey wasn't some sudden rise to fame. It was built on a foundation of these really disciplined steps. The unseen hours, when everyone else was out having fun. The constant practice, learning from every single loss. And, of course, holding on to that belief his mentor had given him. All right, so all of that hard work, all those years of sacrifice, it all comes down to this. One single high-stakes moment, the final tryout game for the national junior team. Everything was on the line. Okay, so picture this. The situation is tense. His team is losing, and time is just bleeding off the clock. Ethan's on the bench, watching it tick down, when the coach looks right at him and says, "It's your time, kid." He jumps onto the ice. His heart is just pounding in his chest. The crowd is roaring. Every single thing he had ever worked for, every early morning, every late night, it all came down to this one single play. A teammate gets him the puck. He takes the shot with everything he has, and as the buzzer sounds, the puck hits the back of the net. That single goal changed everything. He'd made the national team. But here's the thing. The story doesn't just end with that epic, game-winning goal. Nope. What's really inspiring is how Ethan chose to define his success in all the years that followed. His real glory wasn't just found on the ice. Yeah, he became a star, no doubt, one of the most respected guys in the league. But he never ever forgot being that kid on the frozen pond with the taped-up stick. His real legacy was built off the ice,
creating free hockey camps for kids who were just like he used to be. And this really became his ultimate takeaway. For Ethan, true victory wasn't measured in championships or trophies. It was measured in the power of resilience, of getting back up every single time the world tells you to stay down. So Ethan's story really leaves us with this one powerful thought. When you're fighting for a dream that nobody else seems to see, whose voice are you going to choose to believe? Theirs or yours?